the BAFTAs happened in an unfortunate incident. I mean, Alan, you told me you saw this movie.
Yeah,
so
I swear.
The BAFTAs happened, and Delroy Lindo and Michael B. Jordan came out to present an award, and a gentleman there,
John Davidson.
You should explain it, Alan, because you've seen the
so
movie.
So one of the BAFTA award-winning or nominated films is a movie called I Swear, which is the story of John Davidson, real life story. He has Tourette's, and the movie is about the struggle that people with Tourette's has in terms of being accepted in society, being able to go into public and be in public places, because it's not that they don't have a filter; it's that it's just things they say reflexively, and he got it as a teenager, and if you watch the movie, and let's be honest, the movie is nominated for a BAFTA, so everyone in that room should have seen the movie, and by seeing the movie, no one should have been surprised that this happened.
It's just to see.
I kind of disagree with that, Alan. I mean, surprise. Here's the thing. I'm not blaming the guy, right? I will say this, though. I am blaming the BAFTAs because it felt like a weird kind of setup in a way. Like why have those two guys introduce that award for that particular movie, right? Knowing that it's a condition and that guy has that condition. But that aside, the question I have is, did he yell that word before that happened or after or just during that segment?
Well, if I were to guess, not having seen it, it's because, like I said, I've seen the movie, so you understand that there's no timing to it. It just happens. He saw.
But did it just happen before?
Most like the way it probably worked out is they stepped out on stage and he said it. That's the simplest way to explain it.
He said it while they were talking.
He said it while they were talking.
Yeah, you can see
they're
in the middle of
announcing
like
10
seconds
into
the year.
Yeah. Like for example,
they come out and they said like, we're here to announce this, and then there's like a pause and you can kind of hear him say it in the background.
Yeah.
So I have
the movie opens with him going to meet the queen in this really posh ceremony, and then in the most inappropriate time he calls her a cunt. That's the condition he has. That's how it was set up. And again, if everybody in that room saw that movie, which because it was nominated for a BAFTA, they should understand that was going to happen.
I went to elementary school with a guy who had Tourette's, and this is the first time I've ever experienced that. Like I had no idea what Tourette's even was because I was only like 12, right?
Well, and there's different forms of it. Yes, it's not everyone has.
And it's to different degrees. Some people just have tics. Some people like to say things.
A facial tick or just a weird tick, and some people just yell out obscenities, right? And this kid would just yell out all kind of crazy shit, right?
Yeah.
We laughed for like 2 months, and then finally I think we all got used to it, like in elementary school, but.
Share my screen, Chris. I got it.
So I do get it, right? But my thing is, there's people defending him to the point of saying that it's not his fault, and to some degree, I do agree with that. Completely agree with that, and I do blame the BAFTAs more than I blame him.
Well, let's see.
But to say that you can't be racist and have Tourette's is fucking crazy, right? Because you can have both. I mean, you could be both.
No,
I mean, it's not the same.
The question is he.
Well, let's watch the video.
That's the question, right?
Let's watch the videos. This is the censored one, right?
Yeah. No. There are no censored versions because this is what came out.
Okay.
Delroy and I are delighted to be presenting the first BAFTA of the night for a vital part of movie making.
We're here to celebrate.
Hey, look at their faces.
Yeah, no, you can tell that they.
Here's what I have to say. I don't blame the guy. That's fine. Why is he in earshot of a microphone?
I agree.
Why did the producers, Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo, are invited guests of the event, to put them in a position where that might happen, and then the looks on they're you can see their faces. They're off their game.
Didn't they announce it though? They announced before to the audience that he was there and this is his condition and he can't control it. So didn't they already know? Or
what I think Dante and everyone is asking is, why of all the inappropriate things did he wait for the two brothers to come on and then say the N-word?
Because that's how the condition works.
Because that's how it works.
Exactly
whatever
how it works.
Whatever the thing is
in the
inside,
movie, his best friend's mother has cancer. He meets her for the first time and says, "You're dying of cancer. You're dying of cancer." that's how the condition works. He has no control over it.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it was mishandled, though. It was on a delay as far as the broadcast on television. I feel like why that wasn't censored, because then it not being censored allowed it to be clipped and then shared on the internet like wildfire, and directing all of this unwarranted, ignorant outrage at this poor man, John Davidson, of the exact situation of why the film was made, of his life to begin with, and of which Robert Aramayo won an award for his performance of. I feel like they should have, at least the broadcast version should have censored it, and at least the ignorant people out there who are drawing attention to it, like Grace Randolph, should have been more aware and educated about his condition, or just directing unwarranted outrage at this man who could not help it.
I mean, the irony to your point is that's what the movie was about. It was about finally letting people with Tourette's, educating people who don't know anything about Tourette's, bringing them into the world of Tourette's and understanding what happens, why it happens, and that when these inappropriate things happen, you realize there is no control. That was it set up? You can't control it. You can't tell the guy.
I think honestly the fact that they didn't, the fact that they didn't like mute it, on the broadcast.
Sure.
I think number one, that's the issue, but that might be the reason they did this, so that they could everybody's talking about it today. Everybody's talking about Tourette's syndrome, and there's more awareness around Tourette's syndrome. That's
not in the right way.
Brain. That's well, I mean, not in a good way, but at the same time, people are aware of it. I mean, he was saying stuff apparently all night long. Like he was just spouting out stuff at random, like throughout the entire thing. It wasn't just that moment. But now we're all talking about Tourette's syndrome. Maybe people are a little bit more aware of it. I knew about Tourette's syndrome like Dante. I had a friend that I went to elementary school with, when I was a kid, and he had Tourette's. And so, you get kind of exposed to, okay, this is what it is. I'm surprised at the outrage. I'll be honest with you. I thought more people understood what this disease was, or this condition was, I should say. I thought more people knew about it, and that this was like, oh, okay. He yelled out something inappropriate, which is what happens with Tourette's syndrome. The outrage and everything that's coming on the other end, that to me is the bigger problem. It's like, why are you guys attacking this guy for having a condition?
It's not the guy's fault. It's not the guy's fault. I've heard the defense also, he's disabled. Yes, but if you're blind or in a wheelchair, you're not going to shoot lasers out of your eyes and affect other people. They could have made it a comedic bit, put him in a sequestered green room, cut to him every once in a while where he'd say something like, calling the queen a cunt or whatever. Like
making fun of it, though.
That would be making fun of him.
But that's again not the point of the movie.
He's being used as a punchline. As opposed to just being like a guest to the show. I think it was inappropriate for them to air it. They should have muted it out, or bleeped it out or whatever. I did see a version of it that was bleeped out, but I don't know if it was because it was the person that posted it who bleeped it out. But I think the outrage is not really based at his condition of Tourette's. It's just what he said, and people are just are saying like, oh, well, he thought it. He saw two black men. He thought it. So that means he's inherently racist because that's the first thing he yelled out, when like he has no control over it. He really doesn't. And I don't think that they can, they understand that. They just think like, oh, that's the first thing he thought of when he saw two black men. He's racist.
He also said the B word like immediately after that. I don't know if people were aware of that. He said the N word, then the B word, like back to back. So it wasn't just one word that he said, but I think that's the word that everybody kind of caught on with, because it's the N word, and that's the most dangerous word that you can say out there. I'm telling you right now, black people hear the N word 20 times a day, and it doesn't bother them at all. I'm kind of tired of the performative outrage over that shit.
No,
I feel like black people should start.
It's not the same as two black guys presenting an award at a prestigious award.
I get that part. I get that part. But they powered right through it, Dante. They powered right on through it. They were just like, okay,
barbershop and somebody saying it. Like,
sure. But I think that at the end of the day,
hold on,
the outrage is what I'm talking about. The online outrage, not so much those guys. Those guys can feel any way they would feel about it because they were in that moment. I'm talking about all the online outrage that we're hearing. Everybody doing all of this performative shit. I'm tired of that, man.
Well, I think it's performative on both
Dante
sides. I think it's performative on both sides, right? I think there's people who are taking it way too to an extreme level of this guy's inherently racist. We don't know that. We don't fucking know that, right? But then there's people who are like going overboard to defend him, right? My thing is this. It's irrelevant either way. My problem is with the BAFTAs. They fucked up, right? They messed up. Like, this is on them. Like, I put all blame on the BAFTAs because they could have, like Nerd Cookie said, they could have delayed it, right? They could have sat him somewhere away from the mic where it's going to pick that up, right? I give Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo so much credit, man, because they stayed the course. They did what they did. They presented the award with class. They didn't even react to it. You know, I mean, you could kind of tell in Delroy's face, but he still kept it together. And the fact that those two guys left immediately after that, they didn't even stay for the whole award. Like, I felt so bad for them and so pissed off for them. But at the same time, the BAFTAs messed all this up. They put that guy right there in front of them.
We got a super chat that came in that relates to this. I want to show this super chat here. If you would, Badger, read this.
Nick Gore for 2. I heard I got a shout out at the BAFTAs. Yeah.
Thank you for the 2, Nick.
Yeah, thanks.
I appreciate it.
To be fair, the person in question with Tourette's, John Davidson, he was there because the movie that was about his life was being honored and up for awards. And I feel like he should have been present, obviously. And but I think that's just, the movie itself is about that. I didn't even hear about this movie. I didn't know about it until now. So now I'm going to want to be checking it out. I saw a clip of Robert Arameo's performance and it was really good.
Yeah.
So at least there's that to come out of this. But yeah, I feel like that's probably what his life story was about, those most difficult moments. And one of these most difficult moments, when now his condition is presented on the world stage, that's when whatever he says it's most inappropriate at that time that he has no control over, that's when that causes such difficulties within his life. I can't imagine. I mean, like everyday things when you're at school or just everyday life with people that understand. But then when you're conditioned, when you're having to go to a funeral or a hospital and visit a loved one, and when that comes up as something so inappropriate, I can't imagine what he must be feeling at that point, and to say things so hurtful that you can't control it. So,
Alan, you're the only one among us who's actually seen the documentary. What do you have to say? I'm sorry.
I think this incident answers a question that most of America has, and that's, what is a BAFTA?
That's a good question.
Yes, the BAFTAs, basically the British Oscars, or that's what. Yeah, you're right, Alan. I probably wouldn't have known about it. So
well, everybody knows what it is now.
Yeah, and we'll draw attention to this movie, to this condition. There had to be a different way to handle it, because I believe the invited guests, it kind of threw the evening off. It really.
Do you think you would explain that to the invited guests? Hey, by the way, we got this award that's going to be coming up.
Again, they should have.
I don't know. Did they explain it to all of the?
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody
in the beginning, they warned everyone that this might happen. And then after it happened, Alan Cummings came out and yet again explained that what happened.
I saw the aftermath. I saw Alan Cummings come out and say that. But they did it before that.
Probably happened. They knew there was a solid chance something would happen, and then they could use it. And now we're all talking about it, and it worked out great.
Now,
to Elaine's point, you could not have him there, because there's a movie about his life being nominated.
Yeah. How close was he sitting with the mic? Because usually when you have people like that in the audience, they're with the entire crew of the movie. And it's about his life. He deserves to be there. He should be there.
They mic'd the audience, but they could have turned that mic off.
If they were smart, they should have had him mic'd up the entire night.
Yeah, well, they could have. Yeah, I know. Look, could it be making fun of it, light of it? But part of it, maybe how you kind of get over the troubles that come with that syndrome is you make light of it. You point out the obvious, I guess.
But also the other problem is, how many people have seen this movie, right?
Right.
Probably nobody, except for Alan. Like, no one has seen it.
Yeah, it was at a film festival.
So I mean, you could yell that, you could say the word Tourette's, right, to the general public. Most people really don't know what it means. Like, they have an idea of what it means, but they don't know what it really is, right? So to everybody just watching this casually, man, it doesn't come off well, right? So yeah, it'd be nice if there was someone there to explain what Tourette syndrome really is. And maybe they should have did that to the audience. Maybe they should have had like a special announcement to the audience, before they aired it.
Yes.
No, like
no, I'm talking like to the people watching at home.
Oh, you mean like on the screen? Well, that's when Alan
on the
Cummings
screen.
came
Like they
out.
should have had like something that say, hey, general audience, we have a movie where this guy has this thing, right? And this is what it's about. And it maybe explain, I don't know, like there's something they could have done, or they could have just delayed it and like cut it out completely.
They should have just delayed it. That would have been the better.
They did delay it though, but they didn't.
But they didn't cut it out. Yeah, they delayed it and let it go.
They didn't bleep it out.
Oh well, they left out the Palestine comments. They cut those out. Like people made some comments about Palestine. They cut those out.
Of course.
Yeah, that's why I was saying before, like the BBC, whoever aired it, like it was delayed. They had every opportunity, plenty of time to censor it. And again, if the audience watching didn't know, it's one thing to announce it to the audience, but to the broadcast television watching, if they didn't know and they're just clipping it out and sharing it on social media without context, then yes, the outrage will come unwarranted against this man.
And by the way, really quickly,
was it the BBC who aired it? Because if it was the BBC who aired it, then it's just a whole other conversation, because I think that they just saw a white man yelling out that word and they were like, you know what, let's just air it, and it goes right along with our agenda that white people are evil. If it was the BBC who aired it, because they have been pushing that agenda for a very, very, very long time.
Yeah. Let me say something to the people in the comments saying that I'm being sensitive about this. I said early on, like the guy has a condition, right? Nothing you can really do about that. I get that. There was a better way to handle this before the fucking awards even began, right? I felt really bad for Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo, right? Great actors, great guys. To see them stand there and have to eat it, right? Even though this guy has a condition, that did kind of piss me off. I'm not going to lie to you. But at the same time, I understand the guy has a condition. I'm not blaming him. I'm blaming the people who set all this up, who knew better ahead of time, right? So you guys can sit there and justify what the BAFTAs did, right? And you can say, oh, quit being sensitive, oh, it's just a word, blah, blah, blah. Sure, whatever. But for those two guys up there, that's who I feel bad for.
Here from Variety, and I'll scroll up. This is a picture of John Davidson, the subject of the doc.
And the actor who portrayed him.
And the actor who portrayed him. This is an apology. Can you read that, Badger?
Yes, I can. I swear, subject John Davidson, who has Tourette's syndrome and shouted the N-word at the BAFTAs while Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo were presenting, speaks out amid the controversy. I wanted to thank BAFTA and everyone involved in the awards last night for their support and understanding and inviting me to attend the broadcast. I appreciated the announcement to the auditorium in advance of the recording, warning everyone that my tics are involuntary and not a reflection of my personal beliefs. I was heartened by the round of applause that followed this announcement and felt welcomed and understood in an environment that would normally be impossible for me. In addition to the announcement by Alan Cumming, the BBC and BAFTA, I can only add that I am and always have been deeply mortified if anyone considers my involuntary tics to be intentional or to carry any meaning. I have spent my life trying to support and empower the Tourette's community and to teach empathy, kindness, and understanding from others, and I will continue to do so. I chose to leave the auditorium early into the ceremony as I was aware of the distress my tics were causing.
So he left early. This also begs the question, how many people are going to fake that they have Tourette's to get a pass?
There have been some very well-known, huge TikTok creators that have been canceled because people found out that they were faking their Tourette's. And I wonder if that's why a lot of people are having the reactions that they're having, because people have been caught faking Tourette's.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
Hey,
I do have the statement from the BAFTA if you want.
Oh, please. Let's hear it, Alan.
Okay, so it's not worth putting up, but BAFTA, this is stating, one of our guests, John Davidson, has Tourette's syndrome and has devoted his life to educating and campaigning for better understanding of this condition. Tourette's syndrome causes involuntary verbal tics that the individual has no control over. Such tics are in no way a reflection of an individual's belief and are not intentional. Early in the ceremony, a loud tic in the form of a profoundly offensive term was heard by many people in the room. Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo were on stage at the time, and we apologize unreservedly to them and to those impacted. We would like to thank Michael and Delroy for their incredible dignity and professionalism.
Well, look, I think there might have been a different way to handle it. And the fact that he chose to leave early when he saw it may not be the best thing. I mean, you know, the guy in real life chose to leave early. I think that says something.
Yeah. But it compounds the problem that people
like his statement to me, him saying that normally this type of a situation would be utterly impossible for me to be in, and yet the folks at the BAFTAs gave him some grace. I think like that's the next step to trying to help people with Tourette's. If you have Tourette's, or if somebody you know has Tourette's, it's probably very, very difficult to be in these types of situations. And it's hard to normalize something that's going to offend people. Like people are going to be offended left and right. They probably knew that he was going to offend somebody at some point in time, which is the reason why he made the statements. But unless you introduce people into Tourette's and let them know what Tourette's is, you'll never, these people will be ostracized from society forever, because they'll never be able to blend in normally, because people will always, oh, this person said this, or he said that, he must be a racist, or he must be a sexist, or he must be something. And so I look at this as an opportunity to try to understand the condition, so that everybody's talking about it. Okay, this guy said this thing in this crowded room, how embarrassing for him, but at the same time offensive for other people. How do we make this all work? How do we bring people together to understand this condition so that people can move forward in their lives and lead more normal lives than what they normally would have with this condition? I feel like this is a time for people to understand the condition rather than to castigate this guy for having it.
Yeah, in the movie, he was savagely beaten for having said something inappropriate.
I just want to point out there's many different levels and spectrums of it. Some people have verbal tics, some people make whooping sounds or do physical ones, some people swear under their breath or scream out. Some people, you can actually control it, but it's very painful. And I don't know quite how to describe it other than like trying to, an overwhelming urge to do it.
Well, in the movie,
this is just the extreme version.
In the movie, he goes through basically a chemical treatment, which just throws him out of a loop, and he couldn't function as a human being because of it.
And usually if they're in high stress situations, you know, like this, where he's very, very nervous,
anxiety makes it all worse.
Even worse. Yeah, it makes it worse. So
yeah.